All right, hi everybody. This is Frank. I'm with Main Event Chicago, and what we're going to do today is we're going to show you how to capture new customers even during this pandemic. So, what are people afraid of? They're afraid of groups, they're afraid of gatherings, they're afraid of, catching it from somebody they don't know. So, you still need customers, so do we, and here's how we're going to work together and get that. We're going to do an automatic pre-approval piece. The fast track auto approval is what we call it. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit a certain customer in a certain credit range that can be done at your store. Most of my clients will start out at about a 5 1/4. And a lot of you are going to say, that's kind of low. Not the way I'm going to adjust the entire list. So, I'm going to run that up to a 680 score. The reason I'm going to go so high is because a lot of times you're going to find that customer who's a 680, but they don't know it yet. That's the needle in the haystack you can make a lot of money on. So, what else are we going to do with this list that's going to solidify their ability to buy? Well, number one is I'm going to make sure they have the minimum of 3 lines of credit. What that's going to do is we're going to go ahead and be able to show term on bureau. That's what these subprime lenders want. They want to see some stability in that customer somewhere. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure one of those lines is an installment loan. That installment loan, no matter what it is going to put that customer outside of that first-time buyer range. So now that we've got some term on the bureau, we've got credit scores that are going to be in the range that the banks are going to want to see, and we make sure they're not a first-time buyer, we've got a pretty good recipe for a customer to buy a car in your store. Now here's the last thing that we're going to do. Income. Income is real important when it comes to subprime financing. Most banks say they want a minimum of $2,000 a month. Some are a little bit higher, some are a little bit lower, but 2,000s are a good range. So if I went in and did a $24,000 a year income, you'd probably be happy with that. I wouldn't, because where does the Bureau get their income level? It's from applications. So when this customer, this 525, 550, 575, applied for one of these lines of credit, you know they lied. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bounce that. I'm going to go $36,000 a year. Because, again, customers lie on their credit applications, and so I'm going to make sure that customer is not making only $800 or $1,200 a month. I'm going to get that customer that's going to make that $2,200, $2,400, $2,500 that lied and said they make $36,000 a year. Catch my drift? Cool. So, when we put this together, I've been doing this with clients for almost 20 years. This right here is what places like Santander and Cap One and all these places are looking for. They're looking for this perfect customer. Now, how am I going to get them to your store? That's a good question. Everybody does pre-approvals. These types of letters that are going to come to you or come to the customer and get them to want to apply for a credit line. How am I going to be different? Well, I'm going to actually attach a real plastic credit card onto every one of the pieces. And with the right timing, I can put the customer's name on there, your dealership information, and their file number that they're going to need when they call in. So, picture a standard basic piece like this, and instead of just the paper, you're going to have an actual card, credit card that will go on the piece. Now, what that does, there's 2 things it does. Number one, they feel it inside the envelope. That's going to get them to open it, right? Because you got to get them to open the piece. That's a major, major part of it. Half the battle is now done. getting to open it. Now the second thing is getting to read. That's what the card's going to do. By putting their name on it, along with your car dealership, we're going to create validity to the piece. You guys follow me? Fantastic. Now, by creating that validity, they're going to read, and it's going to give them 3 steps to buy their next vehicle. Not get a Beanie Baby, not get a Ginsu knife set, not look for a genuine imitation Naugahyde wallet. We're talking about buying a car. So they're going to call the toll-free number on the piece. They're going to tap in that file number that's on their credit card. And when they get it, it'll tell them, they get on the phone, it's going to tell them with the IVR or a voice recognition system to enter that file number, and we're going to repeat back to them their name. So if it's John Smith, it'll say, if your name's John Smith, press 1. So now we've given them direction and also made them feel comfortable in what they're doing. We know who they are. Second thing is, we're going to repeat back the phone number that they're dialing from. When they do that, again, we know who they are and where they are. We know them. They're now getting more comfortable, and they've done 3 things that we've told them. Put in their file number, agree that that's her name, and 3, put in their phone number. At this point, I'm going to say, enter your full Social Security number now. And you will not believe how many of these people just put in those 10 digits. Now, they won't give it to a live person. I've tried that. They won't give it over the internet. They're all afraid of that. But they'll give it to a robot on the phone. I don't know why, but it works. We're going to get other pertinent information. Date of birth, their gross monthly income, if they're going to trade a vehicle, what that vehicle's payoff is or payment, how many miles that vehicle has, all that pertinent information that you want from a customer. But the most important question I'm going to ask is the very last one, and that's, if the numbers work, are you looking to purchase a vehicle now? And you will not believe how many people say yes. So what's going to happen is all that information that this robot gets is going to appear on a live CRM system that's going to be designated for your store. Your BDC or your salespeople, whoever's going to be taking the calls, can be logged in all the time. When they get that call, because as soon as they get done with that IVR system, it's going to transfer directly to your store. They'll pick up the call, and they're not going to hear, the customer's not going to hear, but your salesperson's going to hear, John Smith's on the phone with the Fast Track Auto Approval. Press 1 to connect. Now, it's called Whisper technology. What that does is it gives your sales rep or your BDC rep the time to go ahead and click over to our CRM, click on John Smith, answer that phone, and say, congratulations, John, on your auto approval. Let me verify some information. Click on the customer's name. Verify their address, their phone number, their gross monthly income, all the things, and set that appointment and bring that customer down to select the right vehicle and make the most gross profit you've seen per copy on every deal we get. Now, I'm not going to look and talk about crazy numbers. You know, you get people that call and say, oh, we just made $700,000 over 5 days. Well, guess what? This isn't that program. This program, because people are afraid to leave the house, you need something that can be an appointment basis only. So, we're going to tell this customer, come on down at a certain time so that they can be dealt with individually. The auto lead tracker that's going to be live for your dealership, when they click on that customer, all their information is going to be there. For every customer that calls in, we're going to leave that live for 30 days after the event. So, you're going to be able to continue to follow up on this customer till they buy or die. And that's what we all need to do on every customer, right? Of course it is. So, think about this. On 10,000 names that we mail in your marketplace, truly, you're only going to see about 100 phone calls, right? 1%. It's not crazy numbers. Now, out of the 100 people that call in, only about half of them are going to show. So that's 50. 50 people showing up. that have already gone through all the information and said, yes, I want to buy a car. Now, your closing ratio on an appointment is 50%. That's 25 units delivered. I'm not talking crazy numbers. These numbers are not unattainable. I'm not talking about 4% response, 10% response, 500 people in your showroom. No. I'm talking about 100 calls, 50 of them showing up, and you closing half of your appointments. Those are numbers that are not crazy. Now, here's what hopefully you'll get, but most dealers are not getting right now. This customer is going to close on a front and back average at $3,500 because they haven't gone out and shopped for the last 6 months trying to find a perfect vehicle. This is an impulse buyer. They're not buying on price. They're buying on their ability to get financed at your store. You get this customer in the control process that we set up, in an appointment base that makes them happy and comfortable. You're going to be able to put them in a car and make the profit even after Santander or Cap One or any of these other subprime finance places take their little fees. This is after the fees. So if you sell 20, 25 cars at $3,500 a round, you're looking between $70,000 and $90,000 for a 12/9 investment. You get everything. We're talking about everything. You get the credit cards personalized with the customer and your store. You're going to get the toll-free number, the website that's going to bring everything in, the list, the important list that's going to get the right customer in your store. And we're going to send everything out priority postage, not your standard rate that's going to take 2-3 weeks to get delivered. We're talking priority, just like first class. So, everything inclusive, 12/9, give me a call. Frank, Main Event Chicago, 312-517-1152. Thanks for your time.